No, I'm doing most of the talking here.
6:32.
This
Okay.
supposedly is accurate, but
Yeah,
that's if we trust the internet.
let's do roll call, please.
William Clevenger,
Present.
Bill Giffens.
Here,
Jenny Monroe is absent. Skylar Ricciardi,
Present?
Rich West.
Present.
all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, you got that? Is your car that you're trying to get rid of sitting outside?
What?
Well, I talked to that guy last night and Courtney said you wanted 500. I told him 700. And he wants to come look at it.
If you're online, can you please mute your phone?
Terry, you're gonna need to mute your phone.
Yeah. It runs and everything, right? Yeah.
Okay, well, this is a council meeting of Tuesday, March
Sent
23rd.
last night. Is it drivable to get it out and put it out? No, just take it out there where he can come down there and take a look at the thing.
Terry, just a second. I can.
Right, I'm waiting until,
Yeah, I'm not too worried. I don't think I need the keys. I don't know. Maybe just leave it unlocked or something and delete it.
Okay. Should be good.
we're good to go?
Yes.
Oh, okay, just let everybody know that we're resuming this council meeting tonight. And if you're online and you speak, you've given permission for your voice to be recorded. If you do speak online, please state your name and address for Karen so she can get it in the minutes. Thank you very much. First thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes from last meeting.
Could we table it until the next meeting? I have nothing ready for you.
Okay, we may table that to the next meeting. How about approval of February financials?
You should have received those via
Yep.
email within the last couple weeks.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Bill and seconded by Rich to approve the February financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is the Lake Max Trail Phase 3 update. Now, Phase 3 is the part of the trail that goes through the old riverbed by the academy, and not riverbed, the railroad bed by the academy, and goes on up to 10, from Academy Road up to 10. As those of you that were in attendance meeting last week, Doug Bird was here, and there's an agreement there will be an agreement between town and the academy that we have the right to do that, and they will participate in the cost of that trail. We need a motion to allow the town council president to apply to NDOT for additional funding. I think Jenny mentioned that additional funding might be available, but it's not a sure thing. But we need to go ahead and apply to see if we can get more funds to do that trail. So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we authorize the town council president on behalf of town council to approach NDOT and apply for additional funding that they may have excess dollars in this fiscal year that would be available that we could apply to the Phase 3 trail project.
Is there a second?
Comment.
That actually goes further than 10,
Okay,
up towards 16C.
okay,
So the academy has agreed to grant the easements
all the way to
necessary in the
16C.
railroad bed and share the cost, but it actually does not stop at 10.
Okay,
It goes up
thank you.
on the railroad bed to 16C.
Good.
I will second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next,
Do we also need a motion to approve the change in the plan? The current plan that was approved was to go along Academy Road. And so I think besides asking NDOT for additional funding, we may want to authorize changing plan because there's some additional engineering dollars and other things that will need to be done in exploring that option. So I would make the motion that we revise the phase 3 trail plan to follow the railroad right of way from Academy Road north past South 10 up to
16.
it goes Sycamore to 16C.
Yeah,
You're gonna do that whether you get money or not.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
yes,
Yeah, that's my question. Yeah, if that's your motion,
yes.
assuming that whether we get the money or not. Okay.
Correct.
I'll
That's-
second.
right. Because it's basically nothing ventured, nothing gained. I mean, you might as well ask for it. They may say, no, if they have extra money, we may get it, but if they don't have extra money, they're gonna tell you. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Rich.
Well, if there's any time where there might be extra money floating around, now is it. I can
That's
just tell you that.
exactly. Yep,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's gonna be coming to us.
yeah, they said we had about a 2-week window.
Mhm. Okay, next, public hearing, we need to open the public hearing for the park rental fees. Is there a
I made the
motion?
motion to open the public hearing for park rental fees.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion been made by Sally, seconded by Rich to open the public hearing for the park rental fees. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Is there any discussion? Amber, do you want to talk about the?
Yeah, I
Park rental
can go
fees?
ahead. I don't have the numbers in front of me exactly,
You
but,
want 'em?
okay.
Karen,
Thank
get
you.
to that?
Great. So basically, as everyone's mostly aware, we went ahead and did a tremendous amount of updates to the beach lodge. That included new flooring, new walls, an enclosed structure on top of the balcony, a completely renovated kitchen, and new restrooms, all ADA accessible, wind vault, and then speaker system, IT system, and updated Wi-Fi. With this investment in the beach lodge, we had decided that it was necessary to go ahead and increase our facility rental rates just for the beach lodge. So we're looking at an increase. We also have our fees for in-season and out-of-season. So the second floor of the beach lodge would jump from $107 to $171.20, which is a $64.20 increase. And then during our official beach season, which generally runs from Memorial Weekend to Labor Day weekend, that fee would be $214. Previously, it was $155.15, which is an increase of $58.45. We also had met with Jerry White, who is the Okra representative, since Okra provided us the funds to go ahead and update the entire beach lodge. They would like for us to also implement a fee for those who are low to moderate. Are those posted on here, Karen? Oh, okay. Those fees then for those who can provide proof of that would pay in the non-beach season $128.40, and then during the beach season, $160.50. So if you can prove that you're low to moderate income, basically paying the current rate, and then we just have a $55 increase and a $64 increase for the overall rentals.
They don't gonna give you guidelines for determination of moderate income.
Yeah, we actually discussed that today. I reached out to Jerry White. I sent him an email. We're also meeting with them on Thursday, so my plan is to go ahead and ask them their recommendation.
Yeah, they should have guidelines.
Yeah, exactly.
Any comment? Any comment online about the park rental fees?
No comments online. I'll move to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second?
Hearing no public comments, motion made by Rich, seconded by Bill Clevenger to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next we have a first reading of ordinance 2021/004, ordinance establishing the park fees or costs. I've got Exhibit A in front of me, which Amber just basically read off, and I can read it again, or, we'll just, so we're no public comments. This is the ordinance. We can pass it on first read tonight and go from there. Is there a motion to pass ordinance 2021/004 on first read?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Sally, seconded by Rich, to pass ordinance 2021-004, ordinance establishing park fees or costs on first read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That'll be first reading. We'll do second read next time, or you want to do a motion to?
I would suggest we get the criteria for the low to moderate income housing before we close out the
Makes
ordinance.
sense. Thank you, Rich. I agree with that. So first motion, first read tonight. We'll get the clarification on the low to moderate income, and we'll bring it back. And the second reading will be next time, which is April 4th. Okay. Next, we have town manager report. Or town manager offer, I'm sorry. We're
Defer.
expecting Mitch Ripley, who helped us do our town manager search. He will be here tonight, and he's driving up from Indianapolis and probably won't be here till around 7 o'clock. So we're going to move this down a little ways because it's such an important issue. We will come back to that later in the meeting. Next is the council opposition to State Bill 389 about the wetlands.
This, I did a draft letter that the council approved to Representative Jordan a few weeks ago, opposing at that time, which was House Bill 389, which basically would decimate the protection for the wetlands. And the council agreed unanimously. That was forwarded to Representative Jordan. It did pass the House and moved on to the Senate, but also it went to the House Environmental Affairs Committee, where it currently was up for a hearing on Monday of this week. We circulated a similar letter to members of the town council requesting approval to send that prior to the Monday meeting because of the timing with the town council meeting. We aren't meeting till tonight, and the hearing was yesterday. So the town council members unanimously offline individually agreed to approve that letter, and Karen subsequently sent it to Representative Gutwein, who was the chair of that committee, and the other members of the committee, I believe. And so what it suggests tonight is that we reaffirm that decision for the minutes.
So your motion is to ratify the decision to go ahead and send this letter.
Yes,
Right.
thank you. Yes,
Okay. I'll make a motion to
By
ratify
the letter,
the letter that was written.
is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made by Sally, seconded by Rich to ratify the council opposition letter to state Senate Bill 389 regarding the wetlands. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. At this time, I would like to introduce Mitch Ripley, who was instrumental in our town manager search, and let him explain the process and go forward.
Okay.
Mitch,
Well,
the floor is yours.
we started out by gathering resumes and applications from individuals across the United States. And in the meantime, as we narrowed that down to 5 candidates, we had a situation that in my 40 years of doing this is the first time for me that we had a member of this council actually submit an application as well. I asked for a special meeting to discuss that particular application before we proceeded to invite individuals from all over the United States in to interview. And after a lengthy discussion, the council came to the decision that we wanted to interview that candidate. And after interviewing that candidate, then I have written the proposal for the council offer.
With that, I will say that I have an offer letter in front of me, and it's dated 2021. This is addressed to Ginny Monroe, 618 Academy Road, Culver, Indiana, 46511. Dear Ginny, it is with pleasure that the town of Culver offers you the position of town manager for the starting date of on or you're agreeing to and signing the attached. If you accept this offer, you will receive starting pay at a rate of $3,346 paid bi-weekly for a total of $86,999.90 annually. Number 2, 3 weeks of vacation in 2021 and thereafter. Number 3, personal days and sick days each year of employment in accordance with the Town of Culver Personnel Policy Manual. Number 4, bereavement leave in accordance with the Town of Culver Personnel Policy. Number in Indiana Public Retirement System, INPRIS, INPRIS, in accordance with the Town of Culver Personnel Policy Manual. Please sign that you are either accepting or rejecting this offer and return to Town Clerk, Human Resources prior to March 21st, 2021.
March
25th.
25th.
25th, did I say 21st?
Yeah.
25th, I'm sorry. Yeah, March 2021, thank you. And it's signed sincerely, Ehrenheim, Clerk Treasurer.
I move that we approve this offer letter and make the offer according to those conditions.
Motion been made by Rich to approve the offer letter. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Sally. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay around for the rest of this. Next, we have a special event permit for LakeFest.
Yes, so you all should have received the special event permit for 2021 LakeFest weekend. You will notice the date change for this event, traditionally the third weekend in July. This year, they are requesting to do this July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the 4th of July weekend. Everything pretty much runs the same. You should have received a layout provided in the application. You should have received the entire schedule of events for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We are still working on the certificate of liability. I spoke with their insurance provider. Their insurance will be updated in June, so we figured instead of receiving it twice, we'll just wait until June, and I'll get that in the file once we have it provided. Other than that, though, we do have Rose Workman here with us. Rose is the president of the LakeFest committee. So if you have any questions specific to the event, I would suggest that you ask her.
And Rose, if you've got anything to offer, please do.
Nothing specifically other than
Okay.
what I presented.
Rose, is this subject to the fact of what the governor may declare at that time?
The change of date. Is
Well, I'm saying, yeah, it'd be flexible if the governor at that time remains or puts us into a
Are you talking
jail
about?
situation.
The governor came out
Flexible
to,
enough to change the date.
I mean, as far as changing the date, it would be similar to last year if we have restrictions. Obviously, we would abide by those as much as possible.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't see it being as bad as it was last year to have to either prolong the date. If we prolong the date, we're probably going to have to cancel again. The amount of planning that goes into it, we've been doing this since October.
All right,
So
thank you.
Bill, just before, so you know, before I came down, the governor was on TV, announced that he is going to extend the emergency declaration for 30 days till the end of April. But he intends as of April 6th to lift the statewide mandate for masks, make a recommendation to follow them. And he's going to suggest that events like this will be handled at the local level as with the health departments and that kind of thing. So
Thank
if
you.
that stays the course, we're not going to probably be governed by the governor's office in the state. It'll probably be that you'll have to work with
Thank you.
local.
Health department, yeah. North Carolina.
Question on the special event request forms. I think there are provisions if there are additional town services that need to be provided. So for example, if the law enforcement or the emergency responders, is there any provision or recommendation toward this event? On
Yeah,
that?
so you will notice on the last page, traditionally, usually these special event permits get signed by each department head. On the last page, you will notice that me nor Wayne did sign off on it. That's because tonight we did want to discuss a few things. I can let you, do you want to go first or do you want me to talk? You want to? Yeah, Wayne can go ahead and discuss his.
Yeah, as Amber said, we normally sign this form. I myself, and I've talked to Amber too, but would like to not sign it at this point until we had this discussion at the meeting, not against the LakeFest, so don't worry. But I think there's some kind of precarious situations developed that I kind of found out about since I had originally talked to Rose. As far as security, I think we're working that part out, you know. But we have the Lions Club. Of course, it's right in the middle of all this. We also have the beach lodge at the other end. Both places are rented. The Lions Club, I believe, is rented 2 days that weekend.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
You know, Mike, I recommended he come here. He kind of chairs all that stuff. You know, I mean, if they work it out, they feel happy with it. I mean, I'm okay with it. You know, so
Yeah.
I just felt that needed to be addressed.
Yeah,
We don't
so
infringe on anybody.
basically what's happening here is we had, in the park, we had facility rentals scheduled out for us at the beach lodge on Sunday, at the train depot with the Lions Club, basically before this date was even set. We usually do it a year in advance. I know we did. I believe you guys did, had it a year in advance before the LakeFest dates were even announced. So we do have these annual rentals that go on. In my particular case, I can speak on our rental. It is for a 50-year anniversary for a couple. I had the family reach out to me because they were concerned. They do plan to have a lot of older folks attend. They're worried about access to the beach lodge because parking is, you know, as you saw in the layout, parking will be limited. So they're worried about being, and they were fine with not being able to physically park there. However, they wouldn't have the opportunity to just run the car through and drop off anybody who did have limited ability to walk into the facility.
What day is that rental under?
Mine is Sunday.
Sunday.
Rose and I did have a discussion today about it a little bit. Rose had mentioned that potentially providing those, and I don't know if you meant it for both of them, Rose, and you can clarify, but for mine, instructing our renters to park up at the water tower parking lot and to provide a gold service to get them down. So I'll speak with the family, but based on my discussion with the family, I think that will work for us because they didn't really care about themselves having to walk down there. It was more so for their elderly. So, but I'm not sure really for the train people and that type of rental, what you guys would need for your guests.
Well, we need a place for them to drop off because they have grills and stuff like that. These are families that have the depot rented for 10 years in a row. And it also knocks Lions Club out of a fundraising event since we will not be able to do our hamburgers and the breakfast. So we just need some way to work with them to get them in. And get this stuff.
Was that for both days?
Both days.
Is there a time slot specifically for those?
They usually get there around 9. I was gonna say the Sunday group, probably 10.
Ours is 10 to 7, Rose.
Yours is 10 to 7?
Yes. So should we just instruct that, how would they get a hold of these? You know, like who would they notify they're here, or how should they work that out, or when they're ready to go back up?
Well, I mean, at that time,
Because will it be the same setup as like the,
it'll be
Uber
the
thing?
Uber cars.
Okay.
So we'll have 6-seaters for
Okay.
2 of them. And we have phone numbers attached to the sign.
Okay, yeah, that's
So we
what
can
I
have a sign right by there if they want to call that.
that'd be great.
But as far as like the Lions, 'cause right now we don't really have anything. If you look at the layout that I had sent you, we don't have anything set up in your little loop there. Other than the EMTs we had set up, but we could move them back. So you guys have access to your
If you
view.
want to see, that's the layout. So yeah, they're talking right here. Nothing for LakeFest is in that area
Right.
or planned to be in that area.
And we can always like leave it blocked on Lake Shore so they can come in. People usually come in that back way and just open up the blockage for people to get out if they need to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that work for you guys? Okay. I'll communicate that with our renters as well. Just as Wayne had also spoke on behalf of, combining 2 beasts in one weekend, 4th of July and LakeFest is just something to consider. Parking and foot traffic is usually very difficult to control. I know, like in my perspective, as at least managing the beach, it's insanity. I think in 2019 we had 800 people in admissions on the 4th of July. This year, I will go ahead and I will put a limit based on the number of lifeguards we have. We have to, at some point, we have to cap it. So we'll do what we did with COVID. I'll present to you guys those numbers when I figure them out. There is a lifeguard to patron ratio as suggested by American Red Cross, and we're gonna follow those guidelines. I just want the public to be aware that, like we had to do with COVID, we have to restrict the numbers. It's just unsafe at some point. Also, the LakeFest committee has been really helpful about security. I know they're working on that with Wayne a lot and coordinating that. We are upping the security this year, more so than we have with LakeFest or with the 4th of July. The plan right now is, from our end, we had requested a officer scheduled at the beach on the 4th of July, during 4th of July weekend in LakeFest, just for the beach. So they've been really, really good about the security. So I feel a lot better there. So I'd like to thank you guys for being really flexible about it. I think Wayne feels pretty comfortable with discussions about security. So that's sort of an update with the security side of things.
So the 4th of July fireworks will take place as typically on the lake. And there are large crowds that gather in the park as a result of that. What are the hours of operation that day for the LakeFest itself? I mean, are the vendors going to be open in the evening also through the fireworks display?
Yes.
And the park will close down at what time?
Typically,
I
I mean,
think
the fireworks
it
are over,
starts
we
at 10.
estimate around 11, so the fireworks start at 10 once it starts. And usually they're out of there by around 11. And then we usually have night security as well, overnight, just making sure everything's okay in the park.
So the park will close at the end of the fireworks display? Is that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
11-ish.
Vendors
And a
close
lot of
down.
the food was all closed up once. All that's done.
Okay. But you're comfortable with that? Then
Yeah.
you'll be working together on this?
The same, there's just probably gonna be a lot more people. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
Right.
4th of July.
It's gonna be, yeah. There's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, I was just concerned, like I said, that's why I conveyed the, got hold of Amber because we got 2 buildings that are rented. And I don't know, it's not fair to the people. I just want to make everybody happy. So.
You make everybody.
Well, is there a motion to approve the special events permit pending, Wayne's approval and Amber's approval and working this out with the LakeFest committee and Rose? Is there a motion to that effect? To approve the LakeFest special permit?
I'll make a motion to approve their permit for the 2nd
July,
of July.
with that stipulation.
Yeah, with the
Based on
stipulation that,
based on the approval of.
Everyone, all of the
Working it
department
out.
heads approved.
And there's no signature here yet, so you gotta get the proper signatures on this
Right.
to go forward.
And we get the liability.
Yes.
Right, get the liability
Yeah.
insurance. Motion was made by Sally, is there a second?
I'll second that, as long as it's conditional on the things that we talked
Yes.
about.
It will be. Motion has been made by Sally and seconded by Rich. to Approve the special event permit by the LakeFest committee, pending Wayne's approval and signature and getting the insurance and Amber's approval and working it all out. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have a memorandum of understanding, or commonly known as an MOU, with MACOG concerning electric vehicle charging station. I'm going to go ahead and read it, just so everybody is aware of who will be responsible for what. MACOG will purchase the EVSE, which is the electric
I'll forward it to you.
vehicle charging station, utilizing standard public purchasing requirements and their internal policies. Upon making the purchase, MACOG will invoice the town for the EVSE's purchase price minus MACOG's $500 credit per EVSE, and the town is then authorized to release funding for the acquisition. Once MACOG purchases the EVSE, the town will be required to take direct shipment of the EVSE, and the ownership of the EVSE will be transferred to the town. The installation and all additional costs for the EVSE will be the responsibility of the town. As stipulated, the cost Letter submitted, part of the grant application, the town agrees. The MACOG may access the data portal, submit required reports to IDEM, publicly share usage information and other data, and list the EVSE or EV user apps. Town will provide the user of the EVSE at no charge for at least the first 2 hours per session for the first 2 years of the grant period. As stipulated in the grant requirements, the town will ensure the EVSE shall be located in a well-lit area for EV users. The EVSE shall be publicly visible, accessible, and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 2 paid parking spots shall be dedicated to allow 2 vehicles to charge at a time. The town shall install signage that illustrates EVSE parking only and parking space stenciling and thermoplastic. The town shall install wayfinding signs near the entrance to the parking lot or on the street to increase visibility. At least 95% uptime over the 5-year grant period by contacting with a vendor that provide an uptime guarantee and assuming that responsibility directly. Site development project, installation and maintenance will comply with all applicable laws, ordinances, regulations, including American with Disabilities Act. All installation work on the EVSE will be completed by October 2022. I believe everybody knows where this is going to go. It's going to go on Jefferson, next to what everybody refers to as the Dickey vacant lot across from the Culver Academy's museum.
Was that a change in from the 200 block of South Main? Because that's where they put the,
Did they change it?
It's in the parking lot.
it's in the parking.
Oh, it's in the parking lot across from your building?
Yes.
Oh, no, see, I didn't know that. Okay. I stand corrected.
You have a vendor that's gonna make sure this is uptime 95% of the time. Get somebody lined up for that.
Bob can address that.
Okay. Bob, are you on here?
I am indeed. The location is still on Jefferson. By the
All right.
Yep. That's the only place that
Thanks,
there was
Bob.
power. There was power available for.
I finally got one right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so it is on Jefferson, on by the Dickey lot.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And to answer Jim Clevenger's question, you're going to be trying to find somebody for the 95% uptime over the 5-year period?
That is built into the software, I believe. I'll clarify that.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm assuming that if it breaks down, we have to have somebody that'll fix it. That's how I read that requirement.
Yes, there is a.
What did you say, Bob?
There is some upkeep that they provide also, the software company. I don't have all the particulars with me here at home.
I'm sure you'll let us know.
You betcha.
I would move we approve the MACOG agreement.
Motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, question.
Something to consider. I mean, you're taking 2 parking spots. Might be good to add something to the ordinance. They're designed for chargeable cars versus somebody else parks in there. The whole parking is covered under city ordinance. John Doe comes up, parks a regular car there, and Jane Doe comes up, wants to charge her car, and there's a car there. They call, guess what? I mean, we have to have something to support.
Well, there's going to be, it's going to be so marked.
Can't just stick a sign there. You got to orders to regulate.
Okay. Well taken then.
Just something.
Well, We also need to modify our parking ordinance for the trail that's coming through too. So I think we should do that all in one amendment.
Thank you, Bob.
I'll renew my motion to approve the MACOG agreement.
Motion is made by Rich to approve the MACOG agreement. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Sally. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Opposed, nay?
Vote is 3-1-4. Motion carries. Next, regional stellar plan update.
I met with Mike from Troyer Group. We went ahead and after meeting with some stakeholders, which included the Culver Farmers Market and the Lions Club, since they'll be affected by the social gathering space and new playground project. I met with Mike on Friday, gave him some feedback based on the surveys that we had conducted in the fall and based on those stakeholders' feedback. Mike is gonna go ahead and after that discussion and picking a few things out, he is now designing the preliminary design, so the pre-preliminary design, now the preliminary design. And we are hoping at a meeting in April, we'll be able to present that preliminary design to council, which will then eventually go into a public hearing meeting. So that's the update for the social gathering space and playground project.
Okay, thank you. Next is stellar plan update.
Also, I don't know if Bob knows more details than I do, but in case anyone hasn't seen, our beautiful electronic sign has been put out on the corner of School Street and State Road 10, right there in front of the Culver Community Schools sign, and it looks amazing. So thank you to everyone that worked on that project. It looks awesome. I'm excited to see some messages start going up there.
And do we know who's going to manage that?
I don't know. Bob might be able to. Do you happen to know?
I'm getting training on it April 15th.
Okay, good.
So sounds like Aaron.
So you'll be,
And I
you'll be in charge of,
I would recommend that we get together and set up a policy on
okay,
what's gonna go, who can use
Yeah.
that, who can put announcements up there. I mean, ultimately, the county has
Yeah,
overrides everybody.
yeah, it was agreed upon everyone. There will be cross-county communication. The point is for cities and towns within Marshall County to promote to others in cities and towns. So Culver events will be promoted in all the other cities and towns and vice versa. So there will, to some degree, like Karen is saying, be put out. And I'm assuming that'll be some collaboration with Marshall County Community Crossroads team.
next town manager report. Aaron, you don't have anything, do you, or for the town manager report? I don't think so. Okay, next we have department head reports. EMS. Jeff, are you on there? Jeff Kuhn? He's not, okay. Fire, Terry Wakefield. Terry, are you on? You have a report?
Yeah, I really don't have a lot. I know we've got a couple of new guys that we're gonna try to do the faster drug test and everything that's required of them to go on, and we're waiting on a class next month, hopefully, to get them in to start training so we can have these guys back on board with us. We need all the help we can get. That's about all I have.
Thank you, Terry. Wayne?
Yeah, just a couple things. We're getting ready to send the two guys here pretty shortly. We're getting things in order to get them done. Up to south end of the new academy started. We currently have one in the academy who's going to be graduating here real shortly. But I filled out a paper and bringing it up to, I want to raise his wage up as he's progressing, so, and I'd like to move it up $1 per hour.
Effective when?
15. Just, I put it in this cycle.
In the cycle you want, so you want to, okay, backdated to the 15th.
Imminently.
Yes,
Okay,
And this is for
Alex.
it's for Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, is there a motion to raise Alex's
So moved.
salary $1?
Second.
Motion been made by Bill Clevenger, seconded by Rich. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
That's pretty much all.
Thank you, Wayne.
Bill, I would like to move at this time because we're coming close to the end date of the overtime situation with Wayne.
Right.
And I would like to move to the point or the fact that we extend the overtime provisions until July 31st, because he will then have both of his other candidates on board. He'll be fully staffed. Rather than go to June 30th, I think that I suggest we go to July 31st, so we don't have to do this again in June. So I would make a motion that we extend the overtime provisions for the police department till July 31st of 2022.
Your Bill's made a motion to extend the overtime provisions for the police department to July 31st of this year. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Rich seconds. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, signify same sign. Motion carries. Anything else, Bill, on that?
No, I have nothing else.
Thanks again, Wayne. Park Department.
First update is on the basketball court renovation project. Just to let you all know, the grant that we are applying through in collaboration with the Culver Visitor Center, that grant is due April 14th, so we're working pretty hard at that. It looks like we will be requesting from AARP $35,000 for the project. On top of that, we have a total of $13,000 collected through the Alex Prey Memorial Fund. Between those two projects, between those two funds, we are hoping to go ahead and fund all of those line items we talked about at the last meeting. But yeah, we're just getting letters of support and everything. And I would like to take a second to thank, although Jenny's not here tonight, she did write us a letter of support for that grant on behalf of the town council. So I'd like to thank her for taking the time to write that. Our beach sidewalk project update, if you haven't seen it yet, they did go ahead and they got right to it. They started yesterday on the sidewalk project. We're looking at about 3 weeks that sidewalk will be under construction, weather permitting. I went ahead and posted it everywhere I could, Instagram, Facebook, TGL, to let everyone know to steer clear of that area. I did open up the gate on the east side, that north fence. I opened that up as a safer opening so people can still access the east side of the park and the beach. My next project is the fireplace room project, which I had updated you guys last meeting. As you are aware, we had a donor approached me and asked to go ahead and fund this project. I've been working with them and I received 2 quotes to go ahead and finish the epoxy flooring through the back room. So our concession stand area and lobby area and restrooms have that epoxy flooring, that blue epoxy flooring. The plan is to go ahead and do that entire, that flooring throughout the entire back room. I got 2 quotes. I would like to go ahead and do the one from Innovative Spaces. The estimated total of $13,620 and 74 cents. There we go. Got it. I also had another quote. However, there was a $285 difference. They were close, all for the same scope of work. The Innovative Spaces one did come out lower. It's $285 lower. Also, the donor that I'm working with would prefer this company as well. She's worked with them personally and had requested that council move forward with the Innovative Spaces one.
Okay, is there a motion that we?
Question first.
Yes,
Donor is paying for the whole cost of the flooring? Or
Yeah.
what's-
Yep.
okay.
donors paying
No-
for everything.
No cost to us.
Yeah,
No
I
cost
just
to
wanted
us. Yes, the donor would prefer that we go with Innovative Spaces. Also, it is the lower quote as well.
I would move we accept that quote and proceed with the work.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion been made by Rich, seconded by Bill Clevenger, that we go with the quote that is presented. And the project will be funded and paid for by the donor.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
The
opposed,
plan,
same sign. Motion carries.
the plan is to go ahead and get that installed May 10th. It's really dependent on the sidewalk project because they got to get the equipment down there, but we're trying to get the new flooring in before the summer season. Other than that, my last update is a hiring update. Karen and I hosted our staff orientation for our summer staff. We had about 20 people in attendance, and we got our orientation done, the training done, and paperwork done. So we have a little bit more to do, but we'll have our staff for the summer season.
That's good.
Yes, that is all for me.
Thank you very much. Utilities. Bob, do you have anything for utilities?
I have nothing for you tonight.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, boards and commissions. Plan Commission. Is everybody online for the Plan Commission? How about Board of Zoning Appeals? Anyone online for BZA?
I can give you an update.
Sure. Go ahead.
The Plan Commission has just been working on routine things, so that's not been anything out of the ordinary. BZA has had several cases of contested variances. We had 3 variances on March the 18th, plus 2 that were brought forward from the preceding month. We had a lot of interest from public. We had 10 people in here from the public, as well as 22 online. So quite a discussion, attorneys online and that sort of thing. So we didn't move forward with any of those. They were tabled before it came to the vote. We have an April the 1st BZA meeting, and that is a special meeting. The reason that was called, in case anybody asked you, was because we had some things that the old town manager had locked up. Our IT people had taken that offline, so I didn't have access to it. We had cases that weren't in front of us that were already filed for electronically. So once we found that, they got it unlocked. I felt it was the right thing to do to call a special meeting on April the 1st to be able to get those people. We didn't have enough time to have our posting in the newspaper.
Right.
That's what we didn't have. So now it's been posted. We have 4 cases then. And right now, I think we have 5 coming up on April the 15th. So busy time.
You guys are busy.
Very busy time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chuck. Redevelopment. Nothing?
We had a couple of things that were tabled, so we'll be discussing them next. We had some technical difficulties in the MCEDC representative wasn't, she could hear us, but we couldn't hear her, so
Gotcha.
she's coming at the next meeting,
Okay.
which is going to be on the 19th of April.
Thank you, Sally.
Yep.
Anyone online or present for the tree commission? Hearing nothing, let's move on to the clerk's report.
I just have one invoice over $2,000 for your approval, and that's for Michigan and contracting for $7,250. And that is to replace the street lamp that was knocked over in front of the eye doctor. And it'll be replaced by, it will be reimbursed for that from insurance. Sorry.
Do we just
Yes,
order them on a regular basis?
I think we
Have
need to
one
keep
in
them
stock
One in stock,
For
yeah.
that
Yeah,
particular
for that-
spot, yes.
for that spot,
Yes.
or stick
I
boulders
think it's-
around it?
Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second,
Motion been made and seconded to approve this for the lamp. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign.
I appreciate that you appreciate the irony, so.
All right.
Just a couple of announcements on upcoming things, and I'll send an email out via Town Garden Lake tomorrow, but brush pickup is going on right now. Just a reminder, if you're gonna break your leaves, leave them at the curb, don't throw them in the street, and keep the sticks separate. If you can't run them over with your lawnmower, keep it out of the leaves. Sidewalk program, we are starting that up again. The program will open at 8 a.m. April 1st, and I will accept applications via email like we did last year. Those submitted prior to 8 a.m. will not be accepted, and I will use the time date stamp on my email. And I will respond to emails as they arrive in my email box. So if you don't get a response, I didn't receive the application. And we have $12,000 budgeted for the program. The next item, the utilities department will flush hydrants beginning April 12th. And just a reminder, you might have discolored water for a little bit. It's safe to drink. Just don't do your whites that particular day. The townwide garage sale is April 23rd and 24th, and the deadline to submit your sale is not April 27th, but the Tuesday prior, so April 21st, I believe. You just need to get the information to me so I can include it on the map. We are going to have 2 cleanup days this year as opposed to the one that we had last year. We've scheduled it for May 1st, which is a week earlier than we typically do it. But the Lions Club is moving their sale to the same weekend as the garage sale weekend. So we typically would wait until after they were done.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just move it up a week. So Saturday, May 1st is cleanup day. Bob will take your junk, except for hazardous materials and tires. The American Rescue Plan, which everybody's all excited about, just to let you know, Culver should receive $304,458. And that actually comes not through the state like the previous, like last year's relief monies did. Those will come directly to us. But I will be sitting on a webinar tomorrow with Baker Tilly, and just to get an update on the eligible uses for those funds. So I want to go about it in a wise manner. I don't feel like we need to spend it all, and I'm going to make a plan on how we're going to use those funds.
Isn't there a time frame with which you have to use those?
I've heard 2 years, but I have a feeling by tomorrow afternoon, I should have a better idea of what that will be like. So, and the final thing I have is I have a conflict of interest statement from Gary Barrett. He serves on the CRC, and he also works for Baker Tilly.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Tilly does a lot of financial work for the town. They also did some TIF neutralization reports for the CRC. Because of his, I need you to approve the conflict of interest or accept it, but also just to let you know that we'll probably look elsewhere for someone to do that TIF neutralization, or I will just go ahead and take care of it.
Okay.
So that way we avoid any sort of conflict of interest.
So you want a motion to approve the
Yes.
conflict of interest statement from
Yes,
Gary?
please.
Is there a motion to approve the conflict of interest statement from Gary Perry?
Hey, Kevin Berger, can you mute yourself?
No motion?
I'm a little torn.
Well, then we're gonna have to.
I mean, I don't.
The motion is to accept the report
To accept, to
That it's
accept
been
it.
filed, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
to
mean,
accept that it's
he's
been
presented
filed.
it to you, and it's something that I will go ahead, I upload to the state's website. And they keep that, and then I also get with the county clerk.
County clerk, yep. So all we're doing is approving and accepting his report.
Yes.
Is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion for that.
Okay, motion been made by Sally to accept Gary's conflict of interest statement. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I think Kevin Berger has his hand raised. He's unmuted, so I don't.
Kevin, do you have something you want to say now or give us an input or? Kevin, Kevin Berger. Okay, hearing nothing. Can we move on to attorney's report?
Attorney's report, and I'll be interested to see what Baker Tilly has to tell Karen, because I know that a lot of municipalities and counties are getting half of the payments in this spring and then half a year later. I don't know what amount that's had to expend the money
That's what I thought.
because one of the buckets is relief from lost revenue due to the pandemic, and you're not going to know that probably for a year or so in some instances. So, but that'll be interesting. And just kind of a point of clarification, you approved the memorandum of understanding with MACOG, and I see that it was to be signed only by the council president. I don't know if you're inclined to do this. I guess I'd sort of recommend maybe that you add to that motion, unless Karen has it in there, that it'll be approved by Bill Givens tonight as council vice president. And I mean, it's, you know, you're kind of in between with an offer to Jenny and some other things. So, yeah, and so that would clear it up that he's able to sign this on behalf of the council.
I made that motion, and so I will amend the motion that we allow the vice president to sign the MACOG agreement.
Motion's been made by Rich to allow me to sign the MACOG agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Sally. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Karen may have covered that and had that in her motion. I don't know, just clarification. Okay, I got two other little quick items. I sent you all an email earlier today concerning our 415 Lakeshore property. I'm not going to repeat everything that I put in there. If any of you have any questions about anything, you're welcome to ask me now or be in touch. But our attorney has not yet filed the motion for relief from the automatic stay. And I explained in there that they delayed the initial meeting of creditors to March 31st. And that there's also some information that was requested by the bankruptcy trustee. And she's supposed to have that information this week. And our counsel and also the counsel for First Federal Bank that are kind of cooperating on this intend to have some follow-up information. And then after the March 31st meeting, we'll file that motion. I provided you some other information that's kind of interesting about our friend and what's going on. But I will tell you that from the information thus far reviewed by our bankruptcy counsel, he feels very comfortable that the court will approve the motion. The trustee probably won't object to it, and that be able to get this back scheduled. Unfortunately, the delays are, pushing us back a little bit, but it's proceeding forward. One thing that I guess I shared with you too, and I don't know whether you saw this and had questions about it. Several years ago, a number of state, local governments filed suit against the opioid manufacturers and distributors because of the liabilities that are alleged and all of that. And as a result of that litigation, one of the the biggest distributor of opioids, a company called Purdue Pharma, filed bankruptcy. And I don't know whether every incorporated municipality for which those folks were distributing opioid medication to were part of the class action or not, but we received that notice, and this has been a few years ago, and I, on your behalf, just went ahead and sent back in just to keep our options open. Well, as I pointed out, there's a plan for a rather significant trust to be set up where monies then would be distributed to local governments. And as a result of that, there's processes that are involved. And I'm inclined probably not to follow through on behalf of the town at this point. I don't know whether there was any opioid deaths in the town of Culver. I do know that there were a number in Marshall County, and I do know Marshall County is still pursuing a claim and is still expecting to try and receive some funds as a result of this bankruptcy and as a result of other claims that they're making against the distributors and the manufacturers and the pharmacies. It's a whole big grouping. But I think the funding that is expected is to counsel those that are impacted. And I don't, the town's really not set up for that kind of thing, as opposed to Marshall County has a health department that could organize those functions. And education about usage and so forth. And again, the town's so small, we don't really have that. So my inclination is not necessarily to reject all of this, but to probably not spend our expenses for what may not amount to a whole heck of a lot coming to us and then having to deal with it in a fashion that we just have to actually spend money probably to set up a procedure. Unless you guys tell me otherwise or want more information to make a decision or whatever the case might be. So.
And you're dealing with it for the county.
The county actually has hired a separate attorney to handle the thing. Out of Indianapolis, and we are part of a multi-district litigation that's out of Ohio.
Okay.
And yes, they will be following through with their claims. So, I guess if Marshall County receives any of that, the argument will be made if some of it is applicable to us, we should have our hand out, but we don't, we at least have a county mechanism that's probably more likely to deal with what we might receive as opposed to the town. Does that make sense to everybody?
Made sense to me.
Yeah. So,
we're at the bottom rung.
yeah, we're at the bottom, and I don't want to spend a lot of money in attorney fees and setting up processes and everything else to deal with maybe not much money.
I hear you. So.
Okay, well, I didn't want to act and
does everybody agree with
or not act
Jim on that one?
And have somebody.
I think you can say we agree, unless you want us to motion for that.
No, I'll just leave it that way and continue to monitor. And with that, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there anybody online or in here for utility shut off or ordinance violation? Hearing none. Time for citizen input. Let's go online first. Is anybody online for citizen input? If so, unmute your button and please speak. State your name and address. Hearing none online, is there anybody in the room that wants to have citizen input? Okay. Hearing none, moving right.
Kevin Berger still has his hand up.
Well, you can wave to everybody. Okay, moving right along. Council issues. William?
Nothing except that I did have a very nice meeting this morning with Walt Hasselman down at the fire department. And I noticed that the new ladder truck was being serviced, and I just stopped by to see if there was a problem. And Walt and I discussed quite a few things aside from that, and there wasn't any problem with the ladder truck. It was just routine maintenance, but he did mention something that I think is worthy of passing on, because it's kind of a change of what we've had in years past. There seems to be a lot of fence mending between the fire department and EMS. And on April the 14th, I think the fire department will become certified as a non-transport basic life support unit. And I think, kudos are to Terry and Bob Cooper and also Jeff. Sally and I know the past history that the two departments didn't always get along, but I think it's worthy of note that seemingly that situation has been remedied, and nothing but good to come from it from now on.
Anything else?
No.
Sally?
I actually have nothing.
Good.
I just want to publicly thank Karen for acting in the role both as the clerk treasurer and acting town manager, and carrying the ball very well and getting out reports and timely information to all of us. So thank you. Step back to your part-time job soon, hopefully.
That's great.
I would like to publicly recognize Mitch Ripley again for his assistance in this project and finding us a town manager. And he was very, I think, just, people don't understand how much he went through to get us where we're at. He had over 35 applicants. And, he had some very qualified people. And speaking, I hope, for the other council members, we really did our due diligence going through this process. It's never easy, and we understand that. And we think we've chosen the right person. One of our, several of us voiced concerns about not losing any momentum, being a stellar community, and all the work that Jonathan had done and gotten us to where we are, and with Jenny's assistance and Karen's and everyone's, that we didn't want to go backwards for a period of time. And we wanted to move forward like we're doing. So thank you very much, Mitch. Really appreciate it. Dan, that's all I've got. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made, second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? We're adjourned.
Who would oppose that?
Probably Wayne,
Yeah.
but he doesn't get a vote, thank God. Thank you, sir, for your report.